Amongst the spiders, there is a group of spiders known as the orb weavers. They are so called because of the shape of their web. You see one orb weaver here. This is the trash line orb weaver, also the garbage line orb weaver. You can see the web is like a wheel, a round wheel with radial spokes in all directions. There you see, and in the center lies the spider. This is a normal orb web. Now if you look at the construction, then in all the orb webs there is a top line. You can see that here. There is a top line from which the radial spokes they come down. Now the peripheral part is attached to various substrates to provide structural conformity. For instance, this one here, this radial line, okay, here, this line that you see is connected on one side. From here it goes and is attached to this leaf, and along this line another line falls down that is supported again along another margin with another leaf. Further, a lower line also follows and is connected to different substrates. Like this leaf, this plant is connected by one strand of web. Ultimately, to construct a web in 3 dimensions in air, you require some footholding which the orb will orient along. Now this is a common. Imagine one spider, one orb which doesn't have any availability of substrate. Generally what happens is there is a top line and then there is a bottom anchor. Here this was the bottom anchor which is connected with this plant, and when I move the plant the web shakes. So there are at least 3 junction points, first, second and third. Imagine what would happen if one of these was to collapse. The web will collapse all by itself. There are certain conditions when the web is hung high in the air and there is a lesser possibility of finding some substrate or some attachment point on one ground towards the bottom side. What do the spider do under such circumstances? It needs at least a triangle to provide stability to the web. 1, 2 and 3, a triangle. These two are connected. If there is no availability of any substrate at the bottom, then the spider generally shows a very unique way by hanging something which pulls the strand down and provides stability to the web. Let me show you one such example. I've just come across one such web. I'm taking you to a different web, another orb web, where the spider has found a unique method to form its web while it was not having any substrate to put the bottom part. First I need to focus. Don't bother, this is my composting area. Therefore, all the leaves are down. They'll be allowed to compost. I'll focus and fix the lens. Now, here is the spider. Here is the first strand that is supported along that wall. Then there is a second strand that is providing structural conformity from here. If you can see, if I can get it in focus. And then this is the strand. And finally, to the bottom side, there is another strand that is going upwards. from here and goes to the roof. But there is not, since this web is high on the ground, pretty high from the ground, it needs some support from bottom. The spider has very cleverly made use of a piece of wood to provide a balancing act. This little piece of wood is balancing the structure by pulling it downwards, giving it a stability in the downward direction. What a beautiful mindset. This is brilliance. Brilliant strategy adopted by this spider to stabilize its web. Coming from this direction. There you see the web, the spider, the web, and the stick. There's the spider, and this is the web supported, that piece of wood that is supporting the web. So this is a brilliant strategy utilized by this little spider, showing extreme intelligence. Obviously, pretty high intelligence here. There you see that. So even these little creatures, they have a very high degree of understanding, architectural understanding, wherein they create balancing act by using whatever available things they have near their disposal hand. So a brilliant strategy exhibited, which is exhibiting a brilliance and a engineering mind. So next time you see a web, an orb web, remember the spider has applied a lot of structural brilliance into construction of that little web. Over and out.